Kuf Nun Zayin. I believe we did actually finish the 9th type of sheker, and we are therefore at the bottom of the page, the paragraph starting with the word ve'od, Yizaher Adam. Furthermore, a person should be careful. Im yovo havero etzlo, v'yishal mimenu dovar sheyesh biyado. A friend comes to him and asks him, hey, may I borrow something that you have? Lo yomar lo, he should not say to this person, Einli. Ach yidchehu be'inyan asher lo yishakir. Rather, he should avoid him in a way which will not involve falsehood. I'm getting from the picture here that he does actually have it. It's not that he doesn't have it. He has it, but he doesn't want to give it for whatever reason. He might have a justifiable reason, and he's allowed to do that. He's allowed to refrain from loaning the thing to the person if he doesn't want to. Maybe the person's borrowed something in the past and hasn't returned it properly and didn't accept proper responsibility for it, or for some other reason. And so he really just doesn't want to loan it to the person. Not out of spite or vengeance. But he doesn't want to say to him, look, as far as I'm concerned, you're a careless bum. Whenever I loan things to you, bring them back broken. So he can avoid loaning it to him with some explanation as long as he avoids, just outright lying. Oh, I'm sorry, I can't loan it to you because my great-grandfather just had Tchias Mesim and he's coming in town tomorrow and he's going to need it. I'm sorry. Can't loan it to you. No, that would go or so, huh? Bad excuse.
Logical.
I can't loan it to you because I am anticipating my long-lost uncle coming in from Hawaii, who might very well need that if he does come, so I won't be able to loan it to you. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
There's a problem. There's a problem, particularly with let's say neighbors. There's certain neighbors who never have anything. They always come and ask you or other people for it, time and time again. They never bring it back on time. You have to always ask for it back. And when you do, they can't find it. And it takes 2 days to get it back. And by the time they get it to you, you've already found some other solution because you couldn't wait. Yeah? And then it comes back full of marks and scratches and... Yeah, so, that's not, you're not responsible to do that. So I have a neighbor who says to another neighbor explicitly, I'm not loaning you anything, don't ask. I feel bad about that. I don't want to say that.
And then they won't lend you.
I guess this other person made the decision. I'd rather not get from him as long as he doesn't take from me. But John has to find some, I don't know, but on the other hand, it's difficult to find a good reason every time. What are you going to do? If somebody else is borrowing it, I can't find it. That's all. It's a lie. What are you going to say? I think my children might need that when they come home. So, I'll ask, let me use it until then. Or I'll promise to bring it back beforehand. I don't know exactly how you can avoid it without lying, but that's what we're told you should do. V'yesh psak b'sefer Hasidim. There is a decision that's publicized in Sefer Hasidim. Afilu yavo goy lebeis Yehudi v'yivakesh lahalvois loy maos. Even if a non-Jew comes to the home of the non-Jew and he asks him to borrow money, v'yesh liyehudi mos, and the Jew has money to loan to him, vein dato lahalvois lezeh hagoy, but he doesn't want to loan the money to this non-Jew, lo yomar lo, he must not say to him, Einli. Don't say I don't have. Ach yitre oso, ech sheyuchal bli shkorim. Just push him off as best as he can without lying. What's wrong with saying I don't have?
He does have.
So it's a lie. I don't know. I once heard an idea that, and maybe the idea is actually based on this, and it was a misrepresentation of what it actually says here in the book. But I heard an idea that a person shouldn't say, I don't have, because he's like, potech piv l'satan. Yes, I don't have. So he's, yeah. Yeah. But if you don't have, you have. You have. It's not that you don't have. Well, I'll show you what it means not to have. You shouldn't say I don't have, because you do have. I can't afford it. Because of that. I can't afford it. That might be true. Or it's difficult for me to justify. Whatever. But the person shouldn't say, I don't have. Charity, come back. Sorry, I don't have. But he's got money in his pocket. It's not that he doesn't have. So according to what I'm saying, right, it would be inappropriate to say I don't have. I guess that would really be the scenario, right? He's asking he's asking for something. Here he's talking about borrowing, but he's asking for charity. He's asking for something. You don't want to give him for whatever reason. So you shouldn't say I don't have. According to the reasoning here, you shouldn't say he doesn't have because it's a lie. You do have. But rather, my response to this person is that, because it's kind of an ongoing discussion, that when you say I don't have, you don't mean to say I don't have anything. You mean to say I don't have money available for that purpose. Why don't you buy that? Or let's buy this. I don't have. Well, I don't have the money for that. Well, that's not true. I mean, you do have the money for it. How much does it cost? 1,000 shekels? So you have 1,200 shekels in the bank. You have 1,200 shekels in the bank. So you don't have. If you wanted, you use the money to buy it. Well, of course, I mean, when I say I don't have, I don't mean to say I don't have the $1,000. Of course I have the $1,000 in the bank. In fact, I have $1,200. So if I did buy it, 1,200 shekels. So if I bought it, I would still have a full 200 shekels to my name. I'm not talking about my bank account. Because my bank account was like...
You don't even have a dime.
Like 2,000. I have 2,000 shekels in my account. The problem is it's in the minus section, where in red. Yeah, but suppose I had 1,200 shekels in the bank, and this cost 1,000, and I say I don't have it. It's not true. The person says you do have it. So don't say you don't have it. I say, what do you mean? What I mean to say I don't have it is I don't have the money. I don't have enough money to justify buying this thing, because if I did, I'd only have 200 shekels left, and I don't need this sofa as much as I need to buy milk and bread for my kids. That's what I mean by I don't have it. So the person says no. So don't say I don't have it. Say I can't afford it. Don't say I don't have it. You have 10,000 shekels saved up for the bar mitzvah, so you have the money. Yeah, but I don't have the money free and available for this because it's earmarked for something else. Right? Oh, if you had emunah, then you wouldn't say that.
They're pushing to the...
If you had emunah, you wouldn't say that.
I don't work like that. I don't know. Maybe you do.
Take 1,000 shekels for this. What's your worry? You only have 200 left in the bank, and you're going to need 1,800 more to pay your grocery bill to feed your kids. Hashem Ya'azor. In any case, here he's saying, don't say you don't have because it's a lie. Right? She says, don't say you don't have because it's not true, and it's ki'ilu ata potech pi l'satan, like you're just exposing yourself. In any case, yeah. I like though the way you're saying. In other words, you can say, I need it. No, I'm sorry, I need it. So what happens? The neighbors come, they want to borrow a pair of scissors. And you can count the number of times you loaned this pair of scissors to them based on the number of notches that have been gashed into the scissor blade. Yeah?
The kids use it.
So what do? What are you going to say this time around? I need it? You mean you're using it right now?
Just put a new pair and I can't.
You're using it right now? Well, in fact, yeah, I'm going to use it right now. So you've made a decision that once you close the door, you'll go cut a piece of paper, right?
I do those things.
So you shouldn't tell a lie.
I shouldn't tell a lie. I do. Sometimes you have to do that.
Okay, well, when you're done, can I borrow? So when you're done, can I borrow?
No.
Well, I think I'm going to need them for a while. How long? A year?
Well, you can be honest, and it's very hard. To be honest, I'm
Right,
sorry, you're not
right.
responsible
They don't
when
push
I
you
lend
that
you
much.
stuff.
Yeah.
They get the
I
idea.
don't want to lend
once-
it to you.
Yeah.
It's
They
not
get
a
the-
very nice thing to do, but at the same time, they
It's
are
truthful.
at fault. It's the truth, and it's do it in a nice way,
Yeah.
as much as you can,
Yeah.
and without blaming them. But
Blaming them.
well, you can say I don't lend things yet, but then you make sure that you don't lie by saying that.
You don't want to
It
tell them you
depends.
made the notches in there. You don't want to tell them. You can't tell them.
I'm just,
Yeah, I know,
I'm just
but-
giving an example. You know.
Give them a compliment first, and then tell them.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess the best way out is just to tell the truth. I have a neighbor. They come, they loan books, reading books and things. A week goes by, all of a sudden you see the book outside, like face open in the dirt.
So you tell me you don't want
What?
to. You don't want to lend them anything. They don't take care of it. That's not funny.
Yeah. So we have in that occasion said.
I mean,
Anyway, we get the point. Ach yitche osoi ech shichol ach yitche osoi ech shichol bli shkarim. V'chol yosh im haya yodeh hagoy shahayu lamos lo haya yichol lihishamet mimeno b'lo sino. He says it is possible that if the non-Jew knew that in fact he had the money, he couldn't escape denying loaning the money without stirring up the non-Jew's hatred of him. Haya yoser tov lomar, it would actually be better to say ainli. Then perhaps it would be permitted to say you don't have, even though you really do, and even though it's an explicit lie, based on the the idea of darkei shalom, that there should be peace preserved in general between Jews and non-Jews, and a person is allowed to avoid telling the truth, even tell a non-truth, in order to preserve the peace. It all depends on how the person judges the relationship with this non-Jew. If you can say, Yeshli, I do have in fact, but I actually need them for something else. If you can do that without and avoid stirring up his anger, his hatred, let him do it. The punishment for a liar is great. Even when he says, I'm telling you the truth. Called wolf too many times. As a result, people don't believe him. That's what the Gemara says in Hedron, Peites, Amud Beis. You familiar with the crying wolf too many times? It's not just an American thing. Sheker ein lo reglaim. Oh. Sheker has no two legs to stand on. That's what we discussed, the shin and the kuf and the resh. V'lo yigrom odom shecherim yishaku b'shvilo. Nor should he cause other people to lie on his account. Ketzad, for example, somebody sees two people speaking some private matter between them. He shouldn't go to one and say, by the way, what were you guys talking about? Maybe he doesn't want to reveal it to him. And as a result, he'll push him off. So he's actually causing him to lie. These people were speaking privately. Now you come up and say, hey, what are you guys talking about? You're putting him on the spot. He might not want to talk about it. It was clearly something private, something personal. And therefore, if you ask him about it, you might actually be causing him to lie. And even if it might be permitted for him in that circumstance to lie, we've already seen that a person should not do that. He's discouraged from doing it. And therefore, right, you're actually putting this person in a very difficult position. What do you need to know for?
Maybe he's thinking about me.
Well, I guess. So again, if it was lashon hara, would you expect him to admit? And if he was speaking to you in a permitted way, which you don't have to know about, so why should he tell you? I suppose if you suspect they're speaking lashon hara about you. Right? So he goes, hey, excuse me, I mean, I might be paranoid, but as you guys were whispering and pointing and looking at me, I got the impression that maybe you were talking about me. Is that a possibility? No, we were talking about yesterday's sports match. Why were you whispering and looking at me? Oh, I didn't even recognize and realize you were there. We're just so engaged in our conversation. So what are you going to do? Well, if you happen to have been speaking lashon hara about me, I'd like to know. Firstly, you should do tshuva, and secondly, I'd like you to apologize. What? Yeah, I guess they could always do tshuva. Yeah, but in any case, the point is you shouldn't put people on the spot to say things which they might not want to say. So therefore, why butt in other people's business? This might also be common. Somebody comes knocking at the door, or on the phone. And the guy's like, he says, well, Mitchell, I'm not sure if he's here. Let me check. Yeah? Yeah, I think, Mitchell, he's actually out of the home. Would you like me to leave a message? Yeah?
Why is his bike outside?
But you've caused this person now to lie for you.
Okay.
You shouldn't do that. You shouldn't do that. He's not available to speak on the phone right now. He's not home. It's a lie. Right? That's a typical example. There's another one I always have with my wife. I say, tell him I'm not home. I'm not home. But she won't lie. He said that I should tell you he's not home. No, that's not what I said. Yeah. So it is. Well, he's yeah. So she starts stalling, and then it becomes obvious that I'm trying to avoid receiving the phone call. But I guess the thing to say is, he's not available right now to speak on the phone. Yeah, he told me he's not available to speak to you right now. Yeah, you have to avoid situations where you're going to cause people to lie for you. Also be aware that you not connect to liars. And he should minimize his conversation with them. A person needs great wisdom to refrain from becoming ensnared by falsehood. Because the Yetzer Hara is always lying in wait in order to catch a person in his net. With lies. Lies upon lies upon lies. That being said, he said, for example, the non-Jew wants to borrow money, and he has the money, but he doesn't want to loan the money to the non-Jew for whatever reason. He should, ideally, he should not lie and say he doesn't have when he really does. Rather, he should try and push him off in some way. Yeah. If he feels that he could be more truthful and avoid getting the non-Jew angry by saying, I have the money, but I apologize, I need them for something else, then he should perhaps tell the truth. But if he were to say that to the non-Jew, it would actually cause the non-Jew to hate him, mistrust him, and so forth and so on. Then he says in that scenario, it would probably be better to say, I don't have. Yeah, even though a person should not lie. But to avoid animosity between Jews and non-Jews, it would be better, Pnei Darkei Shalom, to say you don't have, even though you really do. That's what I understood him to say there. Second paragraph on the page. Upa'amim shehitir chachamim meshaker. Sometimes the sages did allow a person to lie. Kagon la'asoi shalom ben adam lachaveroi, to make peace between fellow Jews. Yevamos samach hey amud beis. V'chen mutar l'shabeach hakalo lifnei hachoson shehino v'chasudo af al pi she'enoi ken. He's allowed to praise the bride before the groom by saying that she is no'ah. She's attractive. The chasuda, she's pious. Even though that's not true, she's not attractive and she's not pious. He's still allowed to say that. Why? In order to promote peace and harmony between the groom and his bride. Your bride is very attractive. How do you know? Were you looking at my wife?
I think in America they say you pick the winner.
You picked the winner.
But it's true to the husband.
Meaning,
She's a keeper. I think.
That I don't know. Maybe she's not. Maybe she's not. Your wife is, so he doesn't, you should not say, yes, your wife's very attractive. What are you doing looking at his wife to say? I understand from my wife, from my daughters, that your wife is very attractive and she's very pleasant. I'm very happy for you. It sounds like a wonderful bride. You should view I'm sure you're very fortunate.
Don't say those personal things.
That's what it says here. No v'chasuda. She's attractive and she's pious. Okay. So I'm just it is possible that yes, when he says no v'chasuda, she's pleasant, meaning her ways are pleasant. She's yard shamayim, and therefore that might be true. But here, what if she isn't? However you define no'ah, right? However you define no'ah. Even if you define no'ah as you do, which is that she's got good character traits. But the point is, we're talking about a scenario where that's not true. You should still lie and say, she's no'ah. Ma'aseh no'im. That's what you mean to say. Right, I'm just saying, whether you go attractive or whether you go a nice person, right? We're talking about a scenario where she's not that. And still you're supposed to tell the husband, that's what she is. You're lying. It's not true. So another answer is like you're saying, obviously she's got some positive traits, otherwise he wouldn't be marrying her. Right?
He finds her attractive.
Yeah. Still, the point here is, even if it's not true, everybody would agree she's not that. Still, you should say it. Why? Because you make him feel it. I mean, if it's so obviously true, even he knows, but he married her for whatever reason, what? Yeah, of course. Why else would you marry her? For money. Everybody knows. So where are you going to go? Like, lauding her traits to him? He's exaggerating. It's like it's not true. So in such a case, he should still say something nice about her without exaggerating.
Right, that's what he's saying. To say something nice.
Yeah.
Even though it's not easy.
Ubushpiza, another example is im balabais heitivlo. If he was a host, he was a guest at some host's house, and the host was very magnanimous and generous. Al yomar b'fnei rabim, he should not tell to people, kama tov ploni shenisarachti bebesa. Wow, he was a great host. You guys don't know what you're missing. You should really check that out. I'm talking about steak, and I'm talking about this, I'm talking about that. No, don't do that. Kama kavod gadolosi osali. How much honor he gave me. Don't say these things. Don't praise the host too much. Why? Maybe a lot of people who are not particularly God-fearing or people who are tactless, they might come with the hope of gaining from his hospitality as well, the poor fellow. So don't do that. Regarding this, it says, "Mevarech reu b'kol gadol b'boker hashkem klola techoshev lo." Regarding this, it says in the verse, somebody who blesses, meaning praises with a loud voice, he publicizes his friend, even from early in the morning, meaning until like late at night, meaning he's constantly praising somebody with in a publicized way. It will be as if it's like he's cursing him. Why? Because through his praise of this person, he's calling attention to his good qualities, which other people with bad qualities will come and take advantage of, and that'll ultimately be a curse. So don't go tooting. Yeah, don't go publicizing this person too much. So that's another case where you're allowed to lie. How was I hear you were a guest at so and so's house. How was it? It was nice. What do you mean nice? Wasn't it really, really special? Yeah, I mean, we made an effort to make a nice time. It was good. Thanks. Wow. I thought I'd go over there. First opportunity. I guess I'm not going to be so anxious to go now. Yeah, look, I don't mean to say anything bad. I just mean to say, average like anybody else, So it was nice. The main thing is there was Divrei Torah and so forth and so on. So if a person is interested in those types of things, I guess he probably is not going to be a bad guest. So that's another case where you can lie. We've discussed this before, right? Ushpiza, Masechta, and Puria. So we've done Ushpiza. Now Masechta. Im sholin loy, im shgur befiv hagirsa. If they ask him, do you know that Masechta quite well? Midas anavahi she'amar. It would be a display of humility if he says, "Look, no, I don't." I mean, he's talking about a case where he's lying. He does know the Masechta. You probably know Shabbos, right? No. Even though he doesn't know. Even though he knows it. What?
If you know Masechta, you're not allowed to.
Yeah.
You don't?
Yeah. No, if you know the Masechta, if you know the Masechta and people ask you, do you know the Masechta? You should say no.
I think it's another Masechta. If you know.
We saw that earlier, right? We saw that earlier here, that if he says, you know two Masechtas, right? And he says, yes, when he really only knows one. So he said you shouldn't do that. Why? Because even though it's partially true, because you know one of the two, you're trying to gain credit for knowing two of the two, and you don't know one of the two, only the other one of the two. That's what we saw here.
Say I've learned it. I don't know it. You need to learn it. How many times do you need to learn it? I know it.
Yeah.
I've learned it.
Yeah.
I'm learning it.
Yeah. You could say, I've learned it. To know it, that requires. That's a different ballgame. Yeah, I've learned it. I've learned through it. Now, if the person has some practical reason why they need to know that you know it, for example, they want to help you. They want you to help them understand some sugya they're learning, or they want to ask some psak halacha or something like that. So there, a person perhaps should not demur and say, "I don't know." You should say, "I've learned it." Is there a specific, question you have? That I learned. I can help you with that. But you don't have to admit that having learned the entire Masechta. So you give the impression, "I've learned the Masechta." What's your question? Muktzah? That I happen to have learned. What's the question? So that's the second category. V'mita. I believe the Gemara uses the word Puria. Umita im shaha lavo leveisa knesses mipnei hashimesh mitaso. If he comes late to the base of Medrash because he was using his bed, u'sha'alu, and they asked him, lama shah. Well, yeah, why are you late? Right, we're supposed to be here at 3 p.m. It's now 5. I don't know what the scenario is.
The morning.
Yeah.
Came late to daven.
Why? Because he was up late.
Yeah. Oh.
No.
He
He had a havrusa with his wife, no? So he came late. He arrived late. So the question is, they say to him, "Hey, why are you late?" So what he's going to say?
He's not allowed to say he has to lie.
Yeah.
That worked like
We're not talking about that.
Here he's allowed to lie. Your question is
Okay.
it only allowed to lie or must he lie?
Must lie.
It's not sneistic. I mean, the implication of the Gemara, I think, is that he's allowed to lie.
Yeah, right.
We're saying he should lie. Maybe that means, so does that mean he should lie regarding the Masechta, I guess? And he should lie about the Ushpiza? Maybe so. He should lie. Not just you're allowed to lie, you should lie. Right? Here the Chachamim hitiru. They permitted him to lie. So you're saying they permitted him because it's desirable to lie in these scenarios. You're likely as a Ushpiza to harm another person. Regarding Masechta, it's going to come across as arrogant. In this case, you're going to be compromising modesty between the couple. So let's just finish off this section here. Rather, he should not tell the reason why he's late. He should say if some other reason, I don't know, I was quite tired waking up in the morning and I just had trouble getting started. In the morning, I'm a bit late. Apologize. Next, let's start learning. In all these scenarios where the sages allowed one to change the truth, to lie, if it can get by without lying, it would be better than outright lying. So again, it seems they permitted to lie if necessary, but you should avoid lying. So I guess that's the point. Yeah? It's not that he should lie. He's allowed to lie. Right? It's not that he should lie. He's allowed to lie. What's the nafkamina? If it was he should lie, so then no questions asked. If he's only allowed to lie, the point is he's allowed to lie if need be, but it would be better if he could avoid lying. Saying the truth is a different story. That's the point. He shouldn't tell the truth. That's really what it's about. He shouldn't tell the truth. Does that mean he should lie? No. He shouldn't. He should avoid telling the truth by pushing it off somehow. If he can't avoid telling the truth by pushing it off somehow, then he's allowed to lie. I think that's the way to put it. Kagonim sholim lo, if they ask him, Yodeata Meseches Plonis, do you know Mesechet Shabbos? Yoshiv, he should say, V'chiata Savu Sheni Yodea. What do you think I know? He gave a Jewish answer. He gave a Jewish answer. He answered the question with a question. And if you can push him off this way without actually addressing it directly, that would be better. Well, you think I know? You think I know? Well, either he does think or he doesn't think, but this way you've avoided saying yes or no. Okay.